Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and in today's video I thought I'd give you guys a step-by-step of me completing one of my logbooks and kind of take you guys through how I try and maximize the loot, where I place my charges, and kind of how I select my books in general. So let's start at the beginning, selecting your logbook, whether that's the one you want to purchase or which area you want to go for. So the first thing you're looking for is the faction. You're going to want to be going for Black Scythe Mercenaries or Knights of the Sun. Generally, this is the most important kind of selection, as the actual faction currency for these specific factions, that being Danig and Tujen, pretty much completely make back a lot of the money that you're going to be making, spending on the logbook, and it's basically going to put you into the green already just by selecting the correct faction and completing the logbook successfully. Most of the time. So yeah, that's really, really important. You need to be making sure you select one of those two factions, at least at this time. All right, the next thing you want to be looking for here is the layout. So when you're looking at the layouts of the logbooks, you do definitely want to consider which one you've got. Some of the layouts have incredibly powerful area-specific remnants. For example, the Shipwrecked Reef has the Scarab remnants, and the Cemetery has the Simulacrum remnants. Those are very, very powerful. There's definitely a few others which are really, really strong as well, like fossils and stuff like that. There is a spreadsheet, which I'll link down below, which is mine, which I'm using to kind of like plot all the expedition stuff out. You can use that to take a look and kind of prioritize that accordingly. So after you've checked the faction, after you've checked a layout, you would also do want to make sure the layout is a pretty good one. So there's two different trains of thought. You can go with an open layout, so you can plot out the exact path that you want with no interference from terrain, or you can go with an indoor layout or a more densely packed layout, which has all of the runic monsters and all the chests and stuff like that in a smaller area. Generally, the best areas are ones with a smaller map size, because all of the maps have a reasonable similar amount of rewards, but the smaller map sizes all have those more tightly packed. A good example of this is Dried Riverbed. With enough explosive charges and precision, you can actually almost blow up most of the rewards in Dried Riverbed with only 20 charges, which is the amount you get in 81 plus expedition logbooks. So pretty good there. And the final thing you might want to consider here is the modifiers on the actual book itself. So you can see here it has a few implicits. This one has area contains 29% increased number of runic monsters. This is actually a pretty powerful reward here, and it stacks really, really well with a few other rare modifiers you can get in the logbook itself. But the main ones to look out here are basically runic monsters, more chests. Suffixes can be okay in some cases. It means you get more chances at getting good remnants. Number of remnants is also okay, but the main ones you also want to be looking out for are explosive charge modifiers. So that's increased number of charges, radius of charges, and length of charges. Those are pretty good. Most of the modifiers are fine though. It's not a big deal what you get really. Main thing you want to be looking for here is the faction and then the area. Those are the main things there. So let's get into it. Start this off here. Once we actually do start the explosion chain, I'm going to have to slay it all in one go, otherwise we're a bit of a trouble. Make sure you do check the modifiers on the actual map itself, very, very important, as it can get quite spooky. And once you start, make sure you continue to kill. Otherwise you could be in a lot of trouble due to the fact that the explosions don't stop when you die or when you go back to your hideout. So you can come back in and your entire map can be packed like to the brim, like sardines, full of runic monsters, and you can basically just walk in, get one shot, walk in, got one shot. For that reason, I'd recommend, if you're on softcore, taking out your Cast on Death portal setup. That's pretty important because you can just get insta-killed over and over and over and over again. Okay, let's take a quick look at what we got here. So we do have one hideout here, which is pretty important, which is good to note here. So this thing here is basically an underground area in which you can explode, and then after you do, has a number of chests in it. Those are incredibly important to make use of, and you want to be trying to explode this at the end of your massive explosion chain. That's the priority here, because those chests in there and those runic monsters will inherit all of the remnant modifiers that you're going to be blowing up in the actual map. So the first thing I like to do when I get into a logbook is do a bit of a scout around, and what you're looking for here is actually a very, very specific modifier. You're not looking for a suffix, which are the ones in white or like you can see here with the quantity of artifacts found. You're not looking for that. You're actually looking for a prefix called runic monsters are duplicated. So you're going to be wandering around, you're looking for this. This is essentially going to double your chance for the most part at getting a lot of the currencies and a lot of the reroll tokens from the maps themselves. This is very, very important to scout for, and you should be doing it on all of your logbooks. It only takes like a minute, and it has a chance to literally double your loot almost, which is crazy talk. So if you can get that, it's going to be an extra juicy one exile. So you're going to be scouting that out. It'd be good if it was highlighted, but it's not. So you do have to take a bit of a look here, but it is incredibly potent, and you do want to be picking it up if it's there. And it's definitely going to increase your profits quite a lot if you do have it. So we're looking around here. I can't see it just yet. And yeah, we're not getting too much of it. Okay, so after you've checked that, the next thing to check is the chests. So right now, what I'm looking for is the maximum amount of expedition chests. So expedition chests are the chevrons on the floor here, or on the post here. This is an expedition chest. These contain expedition currency, and that's going to be a lot of where your money is going to come from, and it's guaranteed rewards. You know what you're getting. You're getting currencies for the expedition vendors, and those sell very, very, very quickly and very, very well. So that's the priority here. Those are super duper powerful. Of course, there's a few other really good ones like maps. Maps actually respect your Atlas bonus and also your Atlas favorites. So maps are super duper good as well. They basically give you like very, very coveted maps. And then also Delirium, depending on the item level of your area, will also give you cluster jewels, which can sell for quite a lot as well. But primarily, I'm looking for the expedition currency chests here, and I'm trying to plot a path around getting those as well. All right, so that's number one. If you're on a map which has really, really good remnants, then you may want to scout out, like, for example, Scarab remnants or Simulacrum remnants and try and plot your path around that as well. But generally, I try and pick a starting point or a route that I think is going to be pretty effective. So right now, I'll walk you guys through on what I'm thinking here. So I'm seeing a lot of the expedition currency chests up and around here. I'm seeing some Delirium and some maps. I'm seeing a ton of remnants to choose from here, which is really, really good. And I'm going to pretty much want to end on this over here, on this this cave. Maybe I even scoop up some of that currency as well. So I'm probably going to be coming out this way to the left. I'm probably going to be coming down around through here. Coming back, I would imagine, probably through here. So, you know, we're going to try and come out probably this way, I would say. Yeah, we're going to come out this way, and we're going to try and hit as many runic monsters while maintaining our path through the chests and the remnants as possible. So you can see here, I'm going to scoop up a lot of the remnants at the start of my chain, and then I'm going to end on this cave here. That's kind of like the way you want to do it here. So I scooped up a chest and 3 runics there. That's a very good explosive. I'm pretty happy with that one. Quantity of artifacts found is really, really good, and this currency chest is really, really good, so I'm happy to get that here. I'm happy also that I'm excluding this one. Anything which says rarity or experience should be ignored, as it's just going to make your expedition logbook harder, rippier, and it's not actually going to yield any more loot for you, which pretty much most people are in expedition logbooks for the loot, not the XP. So I'm going to get quantity of items found in excavated chests here, and I'm also going to get quantity of artifacts, which is really good, and I'm also going to pick up a chest. That's really, really good one there. I really want this Harbinger currency here, but it's a bit of a weak one. I can't really get it with anything else. So you pretty much want to avoid any sort of kind of loot here where it only takes one thing. Like one explosive charge for one chest is not a good deal. But in this case, Harbinger is quite strong, but I'm actually going to ignore it as this is a pretty juicy map, and I really do want to be getting as many rewards as I possibly can, so that you guys can see kind of like a full power. So here I kind of do want to get over to these breach ones. Breach is reasonably good, but I'm actually going to skip it. So we got pack size up there, which is worthless for the most part, as it doesn't affect runic monsters and chests. We're going to come over here and we're going to scoop up stacked deck and currency items. That's great. We actually get another currency item on here, but for chests, we're definitely going to want to pick that up. But again, we're in this situation where we only get that as a remnant. So I'm going to actually forgo that there, because I'd much rather get multiple chests per explosion. That's what it's all about in expedition logbooks. You need to get multiple chests. And if you're making a decision to only get one thing per explosion, it better be a damn good thing. That's basically the way you have to look at it. But if you're getting multiple things on every explosion, that's where you're going to get a lot of loot. So you can see here, I could get fragments and a skull here, which is good. We're going to have to come down here. So immune to cold damage is no good here. This is going to be our first charge, which is a trap. Oh, we can maybe pick up some runic monsters here. That's good still. Okay, we got multiple things there. We don't want to go down there. We're kind of looking at here. We don't want to do cold damage. So I guess we're going to go with pack size, which is like not great actually. It doesn't really do anything. So we're going to triple runic monster here, which I really like to get, but I can't. Can I get double runic? I can. So we're going to get that. So we got quantity of excavated chests here. We could get another double runic here and move a little bit further. Hopefully I can scoop up this over here. So I got a runic monster and catalyst. It's okay. I'm actually going to adjust this one to set up for my next one a little bit better here. So we are running low on explosive charges now. I'd love to come through and get this one to here. If I can. We'll see. That might have to change. But I also, actually, that's going to have to change, yeah, because I really want to get the double chest over here. So this, again, is going to be a bit of a weak one here. So I'm only going to get this remnant, but it's a travel node to getting 4 things here, which is fine. Okay, we got a double runic there. Can we get a runic with this? Okay, we can't, so we're going to forgo that one. Yeah, this is going to get juicy over here, so we need to come over here ASAP. So we've got double runic and a remnant here. And then we're going to come up here and get double runic, the cave, and fragments. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to get hopefully double currency. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that looks good. All right, double currency there. Man, that would have been really good to get those runic monsters. Maybe I actually go, nah, currency's pretty strong. All right, so now we're going to detonate. But the first thing you should always do before you detonate is there's going to be an icon here, which you can hover over, and you can take stock of the modifiers you've put on there. And you want to be looking for 2 specific things here to make sure that you're not going to get absolutely destroyed. So the first thing you're going to want to look for, well, sorry, I'll point out a few extra on for different builds. So you can see here that I have monsters kill things with 20% or lower life. If you're playing low life, that's going to insta-kill you and you're going to break your logbook. I also have monsters that are immune to lightning and fire. So if that was cold, I'd be screwed, but I'm a cold-based build, so I can take these, so you need to look out for that. But the other one you want to look out for is monsters regenerate 30% of their life every X seconds or something like that. That one is particularly difficult for bosses, and it's particularly difficult also for really, really tanky rares and stuff like that. So that can get pretty difficult. So now that I've blown, I need to make sure I don't stop, because it can get really ridiculous. If you die and if you just hang around. I actually bricked my last one while I was making a video because I hung around for too long. So we're going to take all this stuff out, guys. We'll take a quick look at the loot and kind of take stock of where the money actually comes from. This may or may not be a juicy one. We'll have to see. I think it's going to be an okay one. We've got some exalted shards here. That's not too bad. A point of reference here is that it was 45C to get in the door here. And we will also talk about a few other things here. So the exceptions to my rule here are, like, so you guys saw how I planned out the route for this one here. If you had a boss or you had multiple of the areas, that definitely does impact how you're going to move through the map here. Because you're going to want to prioritize getting the boss early, so it's a little bit easier on you. And you're also going to want to prioritize getting the caves with the extra pieces of chests last. That's kind of the priority there. So you want to make sure you do that. And plot your route around that. It really is all about picking sort of kind of a point of interest and working towards that point of interest and constructing a strategy really around that, which is pretty good. Obviously, you get way, way, way faster at this stuff. You don't have to obviously be as slow as I am in this video, but obviously I'm trying to explain and take the time to point everything out for you guys. So another good thing to note here is, as with some coins, that you can actually find some secret areas in these logbooks. So areas which aren't marked on the map at all and actually contain additional chests. A good example of this is on the cemetery map, which has additional areas blocked off, which you can open up. They will be clearly indicated on the minimap. Not clearly, well, so they'll look like basically terrain, which doesn't look quite right. It looks like there's no rewards in there. It looks like you should be able to go in there, but there's a wall in the way. And if you place an explosive charge at the entrance to that, you will actually open that up, and there will be additional chests for you to kind of loot in there when you get it, which is pretty strong. So that's kind of like what you're looking for there, and those are pretty good as well. So you can see here the rares are a little bit tanky, but not too bad, nothing too crazy. Can definitely be a lot more crazy. We're frozen here. Use my freeze flask here, so we're getting through it. So I guess kind of for reference, this is a pretty budget build. It's about 4 or 5x right now to kind of get this build up and running. If you pick up all the items, so it's a pretty accessible mechanic here. Oh man, we died. Okay, so that's okay. Definitely not bad. We don't have casting death portal on, so we're not going to get insta killed again. But we'll jump back in here, and then at the end we'll kind of go over the loot. So we got a reasonable run here, it looks like. We should definitely be making a little bit of profit at the end here. Alright, let's jump back in. Loading screens, of course, the nemesis of us all. So this is kind of what I'm talking about here. The explosion chains continue to move, and you can kind of just insta-die when you come back in. They continue to blow up the area even when you're fighting, even when you're not like actually playing, even when you're in the hideout. They continue to go, and if the portal's in a bad place, you can actually just like get auto-bricked. So it's definitely pretty bad there. I definitely recommend bringing a movement-based skill so you can kind of just try and dash out of it and run away. But it can get particularly bad if you die on the very first explosive charge. So you can see we got out of there. That's very good. Get particularly bad if you die on the explosive charge up first. But you can generally save it if you have like dash or flame dash, and you use that as your first ability in the grace period. So we got another coin here. That's pretty cool. This is definitely a little bit on the less juicy side, of course, because we didn't get any runic monsters that duplicated. We didn't get any sort of like kind of spicy bosses. We didn't get any sort of stuff like that. If you guys are interested, the bosses drop a guaranteed amount of reroll currency, so they're basically automatically going to give you a ton of loot. They can also drop uniques and bases and stuff like that as well, which are really, really strong. So these monsters are getting pretty tanky here, so we're going to have to focus up a little bit here. I don't want to be bricking this one either. Yeah, so I guess I'm watching, oh man, here we go again. So I guess I'm watching out, what I'm watching out here for is trying to dodge the actual archers here, while also trying to keep the video interesting is definitely a little bit of a challenge. This is going to be even more challenging now because I'm at the same place with all those monsters at the portal. But yeah, the Black Scythe, which is primarily what most people are going to be doing, do have probably one of the most annoying monsters in the game in them, which are the archers, which can off-screen you. So you do have to be watching out for them. The best strategy is to just never stop moving against them and trying to off-screen them. It can be a little bit difficult though. So you can see here we got a biome-specific monster. Those actually aren't worth going for. They're not considered runic, and they don't really drop any loot. So yeah, you don't have to worry too much about them. That's the archers there that I'm talking about. So we get frozen again, very, very annoying. And we'll finish off the loot here, and then we'll kind of do a bit of a recap on how much we made. Frozen again. That's like a different kind of freeze, I'm pretty sure, though. It's like not something that you can immediately flask off. So we're going to come down here and get these monsters here, so we can get a bit more loot. Here we go. Trying to keep my distance here because it's very, very spooky with all the modifiers on it. Clear out the portal. That'll be good. Okay, looks like we get to pick up our chest here. So we got a breach scarab, that's pretty good. Scoop up all this stuff here. We're not going to go into too much detail on all of the stuff here because obviously it would take a while. What do we get? Sandy vestige. Okay, that's not too bad. So we got some more exalted shards, pretty nice. And we'll jump down in the vestige. So this one is actually a particularly dangerous one here. It's actually got the zombies from Dell, which basically when they die, they leave a massive poison degen. So you definitely have to take your time in here. You don't want to die. It would suck. But yeah, as I did mention, there are runic monsters down here, which are pretty good. You do want to make sure that poison dissipates. You don't want to die to that. It's pretty rough. You also do want to take out the runic monsters, of course. So take them out. We're trying to make sure we don't die to the poison by walking into it, because it's very tempting to just get in there. Here we go. Okay, got some frame issues. We'll jump in here. So there is a ton of different secret areas in expeditions. We're frozen here. Ton of different secret areas in expedition, and lots of them actually do have a lot of secret little things in them. So there's one that I really, really want to point out. I can't remember its exact name, but you're going to want to be looking out for it. It's essentially it kind of looks like a temple-y, dungeon-y kind of style thing. It has something called like, basically it has a chest, like a coffer, like a big sarcophagus in it. You might think that there's no loot in there. It's not marked, but when you click on it, it will actually give you a big event of monsters. Well, not big, but it'll give you an event of monsters, and it'll actually also give you a bunch of loot at the end. So make sure you watch out for that. It looks like a little bit of a kind of a coffin, and that's going to be a pretty good one there. So we're going to dip out of here now. I'm going to give you guys a bit of a recap on the loot real quick, just so you guys can have a kind of an understanding of what we got here. So this one here cost us 45C. It was definitely a bit of a lower juice level one. We didn't get too much stuff, which is insane. We didn't really get any bosses. We didn't get any modifiers, which was really, really good. So we're going to add this up here right now. So we got 7 coins. These are worth 5C a piece in bulk. So that's 35C there. We also got 143 Black Scythe grand artifacts. So these ones, which this is why we prioritize the expedition currency chests. These ones are worth 5.5 to 1. So 143 divided by 5.5. So you can see here that we already made our money back with profit just off those two things, and these things sell pretty much instantly. They're incredibly liquid. You could like list them right now and they would insta sell if you have a decent amount of them. So this here is 820 to 10, pretty much 820, 810 to 10. So that's basically 10C there. And then we have these, which are 840 to 10, I believe, which is pretty good there. So we got another 10C there. And then we also have the lesser black scythe artifacts here, which are around 510-ish to 10. So what's that? That's about like 15C, we'll just say. Let's just call it 15C. That's a little bit under, but we'll call it 15C. So you can see here that we already more than doubled our money, and that's not including this Elder Guardian map we got, not including any of the maps we got, not including pretty much anything else. And that was definitely on the less juicy side. And we got some Exalted Shards there as well. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. Closing thoughts, expeditions are really strong. I'm going to be running a 50 map expedition logbook test to get the exact numbers on how much everything drops and stuff like that. So definitely look forward to that coming up. There will be a massive expedition guide coming out on every single little nuance of it on logbooks coming up as well. So definitely look forward to that as well. And hope you guys are enjoying Expedition League. I'm definitely having a lot of fun. It's very, very profitable. You pretty much cannot lose money at this point. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.